John Bryan, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to see me at Radio City Music Hall. I love to play venues where if the guy that built the venue could see me on the stage, he would be a little bit bummed about it. Look at this. This is so much nicer than what I'm about to do. It's really tragic. What a historic and beautiful and deeply haunted building this is. I keep walking through cold spots being like, I wonder who that used to be. I've never seen a ghost, by the way. I asked my mom if she'd ever seen a ghost. That's where we're at conversation-wise in our relationship as a mother and son, because I'm 35 and I don't have any children to talk about, and she doesn't understand my career. So I was home for Christmas and we were just eating Triscuits in silence, and I was staring at the floor and I was like, well, here goes nothing. You ever seen a ghost? And my mom said, yes. Which is the best answer. She said, I never told you this before, but our house when you were growing up was haunted. I said, say more right now. She said, outside you and your brother's room, I used to see the ghost of a little girl in a Victorian nightgown, and then she would walk down the hallway, and then she would evaporate. And then my dad said, let's change the subject. And I think he was just doing that dad thing of like, this is a weird topic, and I want to talk about a book I read about World War II. But the way it came off was that he definitely killed that little girl. Let's change the subject. Why are we even talking about Penelope or whatever her name was? I didn't kill her. Whoever did kill her only did it to protect her from this world. None of us really know our fathers. Anyway. My dad is so weird. I'd love to meet him someday. You know, my friend was telling me that his dad used to beat him with a belt. And that's just the setup to my story. So forget about that poor son of a bitch. Anyway, so he was talking and I was waiting for him to be done so that I could talk. You know, so he talk. I go, oh, it's my turn next. And I said, my dad never hit us. My dad is a lawyer, and he was a debate team champion. So he would pick us apart psychologically. One time I was at the dinner table when I was like 6, because I had to be. My dad goes, how was school today? I said, it was good, but someone pushed Tyler off the seesaw. And where were you? I was over on the bench. And what did you do? Nothing, I was over on the bench. But you saw what happened? Yeah, because I was over on the bench. So you saw what happened and you did nothing. Yeah, because I was sitting over on the bench. Let me ask you this. In Nazi Germany, when people saw what the Nazis were doing and they did nothing, were those good people? Oh, no, those are bad people. You got to stop the Nazis. But you saw what they were doing to Tyler and you did nothing because I was over on the bench. And then my dad said, just explain to me this. How are you better than a Nazi? And then my mom said, I made a salad with craisins, and the conversation ended. My dad's a very weird and formal guy. A lot of people ask me if he gave me a sex talk. Yes, I think. I was like 12 years old, and my dad walked up to me and he said, hello. Hello, I'm Chip Mulaney, I'm your father. And then he said the following. You know, Leonard Bernstein was one of the great composers and conductors of the 20th century. But sometimes he would be gay. And according to a biography I read of him, when he was holding back the gay part, he did some of his best work. We don't have time to unpack all of that. And I don't know if he was discouraging me from being gay or encouraging me to be a classical composer, but that is how he thought to phrase it to a 12-year-old boy. How would that ever work? Like years later, I'd be in college about to go down on some rockin' twink, and I'd be like, wait a second, what would Leonard Bernstein do? I've never talked to my dad about that, but I figured I would tell all of you. This is so great. Thank you for coming. You're here. That's great. You all showed up. I appreciate it. And then we showed up, so you got to see the things that you paid to see. That's great. You don't always get to see the things that you paid to see. Ever been to the goddamn zoo? Those guys are never where they're supposed to be. Every time I go to the zoo, I'm like, hey, where's the jaguar? And the zoo guy is like, oh, he must be in the inside part. The inside part? Tell him we're here. I love doing stand-up for crowds because this right here, this reminds me of assembly in grade school. And assembly was the only part of school I ever liked. And once you leave school, you don't get to have assembly. This is the closest we get in adult life to assembly. Because look at you all, you're just sitting there in chairs, looking at a guy with absolutely no expertise who's gonna talk for a while. Although this is different than assembly, because like you bought tickets, you knew this was coming. Assembly, you never knew was coming when you were a kid. You just showed up at 8 a.m. and they were like, put down your stuff. Go to the gym. You're like, God, I guess they're finally gonna kill us all right. This is younger than I thought it would be, but we are pretty big assholes. You get to the gym and the whole school is sitting on the floor. You're like, what are we, about to graduate from Tuesday? My principal would always come out to kick things off. She'd be like, children, rather than continue to teach you how to read, we have cleared the entire day for this random guy. I used to smoke crack. As you 7- and 8-year-olds probably know, freebasing is the greatest orgasm known to man. But I'm here to tell you there's hope. I've been sober now 2 weeks. Well, weekdays, not weekends. Weekends, that's Nunzio's time. I was once at assembly listening to a guy talk about smoking crack. My social studies teacher yelled at me. He goes, sit up straight, show some respect. I was like, he's smoking cocaine. Sit up straight, he's standing on a 45-degree angle, or as junkies call it, first position. I always got yelled at assembly. That's right, there was always like assembly, and then there was like that second assembly to yell at you for how you behaved at the first assembly. They'd be like, get in here, sit down, sit down, sit down. I want to talk about what happened yesterday. You're like 8 years old, you're like, what's yesterday? We invite a woman here with homemade puppets to teach you about bullying through skits, and you laugh at this woman? We noticed you had all been bullying each other and making fun of everything constantly, so we invite a woman with straight gray hair in a denim dress with a wrist cast and homemade puppets that all have the same voice to teach you about bullying through skits, and you ha ha ha, laugh it up. What was so funny about that woman? I want to know. What was so funny about when she couldn't fit the box of puppets back into the trunk of her Dodge Neon? What was so hilarious that you all ran to the windows? Well, you all missed a valuable lesson on the danger of cliques. What's a clique? It's when a group of people hang out together. Oh, you mean like having friends? No. Because these people make fun of other people. Oh, you mean like having friends? The greatest assembly of them all. Once a year. Stranger danger. Yeah. The hottest ticket in town. The Bruno Mars of assemblies. You are gathered together as a school, and you are told never to talk to an adult that you don't know. And you are told this by an adult that you don't know. We had the same stranger danger speaker every year when I was a kid. His name was Detective J.J. Bittenbinder. Go ahead and laugh. His name is ridiculous. That was his name. It was J.J. Bittenbinder. He was from the Chicago Police Department. He was a child homicide expert. And, oh, geez. Very sorry, Radio City. Did that make you uncomfortable? Well, guess what? You're adults, and he's not even here. So try being 7 years old, and you're sitting 5 feet away from him. He's still got blood on his shoes. And he's looking at you in the eye to tell you for the first time in your very young life that some adults find you incredibly attractive. And they may just have to kill you over it. Okay, c'est la vie, go be kids, go have fun. Bittenbinder came every year. By the way, Detective J.J. Bittenbinder wore 3-piece suits. He also wore a pocket watch. 2 years in a row, he wore a cowboy hat. He also had a huge handlebar mustache. None of that matters, but it's important to me that you know that. He did not look like his job description. He looked like he should be the conductor on a locomotive powered by confetti, but instead he made his living in murder. He was the weirdest goddamn person I ever saw in my entire life. He was a man most acquainted with misery. He could look at a child and guess the price of their coffin. That line never gets a laugh, but once you write it, it stays in the act forever. So Bittenbinder came every year with a program to teach us about the violent world waiting for us outside the school gym. And that program was called Street Smarts. Time for Street Smarts with Detective J.J. Bittenbinder. Shut up, you're all gonna die. Street Smarts. That was the general tone. He would give us tips to deal with crime. I will share some of the tips with you this evening. Okay, tip number 1, Street Smarts. Let's say a guy pulls a knife on you to mug you, because you remember the scourge of muggings when you were in 2nd and 3rd grade. You know how a mugger thinks, man, I need cash for drugs right now. Hey, maybe that 8-year-old with the goddamn Aladdin wallet that only has blank photo laminate pages in it will be able to help. Let's say a guy pulls a knife on you to mug you. What do? You go fumbling for your wallet, and you go fumbling for your wallet. Well, in that split second, that's when he's gonna stab you. So here's what you do. You kids get yourselves a money clip, okay? You can get these at any haberdashery. You put a $50 bill in the money clip. Then, when a guy flashes a blade, you go, you want my money? Go get it. Then you run the other direction. And our teachers were like, write that down. We're like, buy a money clip? Engraved, question mark? You go home to your parents, hey, Dad, can I have a silver money clip with a $50 bill in it, please? Don't worry, I'm only gonna chuck it into the gutter and run away at the first sign of trouble. The man with the mustache told me to do it. Tip number 2, Street Smarts. Let's say a kidnapper throws you in the back of a trunk. This was at 9 in the morning.